Hello and welcome. As you probably guessed, I am MotherAzure, but you can also call me Maria. I am back again with another pick a card. As you probably guessed by the title, this is going to be about your inner child. Now, before I start, let me tell you that this is a safe space. And I'll tell you that because I know that you're dealing with your inner child is a difficult thing, and it can be sometimes very triggering. So I just wanted you to know that this is a judgment-free zone. You don't have to worry about that. Um, you will not be judged here. I'm simply gonna relay to you the messages that your inner child could have for you. Okay? And I also want to say that if you are choosing to work with your inner child, because it's something that most people, I think, shy away from because it tends to be painful, I want to tell you that you're very strong and I'm very proud of you. Okay? I know how it feels to go through that, and I don't want you to feel like you're alone in this. Okay? That wasn't necessarily emotional, but let's get to it. Okay? So you got piles 1, 2, and 3. For pile 1, you got the desert card. I hope you can see that because I do have some glare here. Okay. For pile 2, you have birch. And for pile 3, you have the hair. Okie dokie, so let's get to it. Pause the video right now to pick your pile, and I'll see you whichever you choose. I always get stuck there. I chose pile 1 with the desert. Before I get into your pile, when I was putting away the pile, when I was placing them in the beginning, and I was placing your pile, something came to mind, and I even wrote it down here so I wouldn't forget, because I picked these piles and then I came back to the reading. And what came to mind, and I'm pretty sure this is your inner child talking about how you feel right now, because what came to mind was, if I'm not perfect, I'm nothing. Okay, so you may be someone who is a perfectionist, so your inner child could have felt, when you were a child, you could have felt like you needed to be perfect in everything that you did, or otherwise either you would get punished, or you simply felt the need to do that to receive some type of attention. Okay, and I think that was the way of your inner child to let you know that. Okay, so I'm gonna put your card, I don't know where, here I guess, and let's get into that. That's a very heavy message just off the bat, so I already know that this pile is gonna be heavy. This card, I took one card for each of the piles here, like this, with this deck. So this would represent your inner child now, and like their main energy and their messages, so I can get to know them a bit more and tell you a bit about them, so that the message would make sense. Okay, so your inner child is represented by the moon card. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, it's a little bit hard to place this over here, but I'm gonna try my best. Okay, so let's start with step out of your comfort zone. You also got you are good enough. I'm gonna put this one over here. What do you need to release? Ooh, okay. And then you got you're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness, face your true north. And I'm sorry, defenselessness, writing past wrongs, uprooting. Okay, and then you got three tarot cards. You got the Emperor. Okay, you got the Four of Pentacles, which is interesting because the Four of Pentacles, sometimes people call them like a mock emperor, because he seems like he's the emperor in the Rider-Waite's tarot, but he's not. He only has a couple things on his, a couple pentacles, right? And then you got the Ace of Cups. So because your inner child is represented by the Moon card, I feel like, and even with the Desert card, because these cards are oracle, they do have a meaning, and what I'm feeling from that and this is that you had to, when you were a child, you probably had to keep your emotions and a lot of things hidden. So maybe you were trying to be like the perfect kind of child, and you wouldn't show a lot of emotion, or you could not be quiet. I feel like a lot of people could miss you if they don't see that, because I feel like you're so quiet, sometimes people don't even notice you're there because you were that type of child. So you were it's very likely that you are a perfectionist, but you at the same time you don't like to be recognized for what you do, or just seen at all, right? And right now I feel like as an adult, or as a teenager, I don't know how old you are when you're watching this, but now that you're older, that has transferred into this kind of uptight aura around you, or maybe you have like a certain way to do things, or like I said, like that note said, if I'm not perfect, I'm nothing. It's like you have these impossible standards for yourself and for your own achievements, and that's all coming from your childhood, right? So there's a chance that you had some issues with a father figure, because we do have the emperor here. So, or not necessarily a father figure, but someone that was very domineering in some way, and that's why you felt the need to be perfect in everything that you did, or someone that you either that or someone that you perceived as being perfect, so you thought that if you didn't get on their level, they wouldn't pay attention to you. This could have been anyone in your life, could have been a sibling, mom, dad, anyone. Okay, now, and I feel like a lot of your emotions have been you've sealed a lot of your emotions away, and you don't even do it consciously anymore. It's kind of like you're on autopilot in that sense, right? So you have a lot of pent up emotions inside of you. Okay, but you don't let them out because sometimes you don't even notice they're there. So there's a chance they're telling me that because of that, maybe you don't recognize that you have these emotions inside of you. They find a way. The emotions eventually find a way to come up to the surface. Okay, and because you don't actually express them or allow yourself to express them enough or as they are, you can get a lot of sicknesses. It doesn't mean that you're sick, but you could have like muscle tension a lot, or nausea, or stomach issues, stuff like that. That can come from pent up emotions, because your emotions store themselves in areas in your body. This is actually like a psychological thing. I would encourage you to look it up. And I feel like you will, because for some reason I'm feeling that this pile, you're a lot like me, because they're also showing me my own behavior here, and you would probably like to look that up. So I would really encourage you to do that. And it makes a lot of sense that with that first message that I got, just literally just touching your pile. And by the way, I don't look at the cards before I set them here, because you got that you are good enough. I feel like that's amazing to me. That's the main message your inner child wants to give you. Because if you feel like if you're not perfect, you're nothing. Your inner child is telling you that you are good enough in everything you do. Don't let perfect get in the way of good enough. Okay, you don't have to be absolutely perfect in everything you do, because like that is completely maddening to you. I'm looking for a word and I don't know what it is. Because even if you don't realize it, you are suffering because of those high standards that you set for yourself, and that need for perfection, right? That's eventually gonna hurt you in many ways. Okay, because you are neglecting your emotional side. You're neglecting, most likely there's a chance that you've neglected relationships in the past. Give me a second, I need to take off my sweater. Sorry. And because this card also says embrace your weirdness, I feel like I said, you've become this kind of uptight person, and that comes from your childhood. If not uptight, just someone who's very defensive, and it's like you try to keep a certain appearance about you, that you want people to believe, right? Even if it's not true. And I'm not calling you out, I'm simply saying what I'm seeing here. Okay, and because you're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. I feel like you have quite a playful energy deep down. So your inner child really wants you to let that playful side of you come out from time to time, because that helps you heal. Okay, and the other thing they really want you to do, which is very clear here, step out of your comfort zone. And I feel like that stepping out of your comfort zone has to do with this card as well, which says what do you need to release. Like I said, I feel like you have a lot of pent up emotions inside of you with this moon card here. So that stepping out of your comfort zone could be as simple as allowing yourself to feel something for, let's say, a full hour. Let's say that you give a full hour to cry just your eyes out and then just keep going. Even something as simple as that, which can be very uncomfortable, but it's very simple, can really help you, and your inner child wants to heal, because that's the thing, that your inner child is you when you were little. It's that part of you that stayed little, right? And that's why it's so important to work with your inner child, because your inner child is still hurt. Yes, the adult version of you, or the teenager version of you, is different and has gained other ways to cope with trauma or with sadness or with anything, but that part of you is still a child, right? So you have to kind of integrate that. You need to work with this inner child, because when you don't, it kind of controls your life a little bit. It doesn't mean that the inner child is a bad thing. It simply means that when you repress certain things, they start controlling your life. Don't ask me why, but I can really tell you that that's how it happens. I don't know why it happens specifically, but the more you try to suppress something, the more it controls you. Okay? Now, your inner child, I heard, wants you to laugh. So maybe you should try to have a little bit more fun, and try to do things that feel emotionally fulfilling to you. I feel like some of you may not know exactly what makes you emotionally fulfilled, and what I'm hearing for that is that you need to, search around a couple things, and try out the things that you liked when you were a child. So maybe when you were a child you really liked, I don't know, swimming, for example, and maybe you could go and try swimming for a little bit. Just go a day to the beach or to a public pool or whatever you need, alright? So stuff like that, that's gonna allow you to get in touch with that playful and that inner child of yours, right? With that playful side of you, and your inner child, because that's how you heal the inner child, by connecting with it. But it's very important that you do feel these emotions, okay? Because your inner child is holding on to a lot of sadness, a lot of anger as well, which is what I'm feeling, and a lot of painful memories, right? So the thing with that is that you haven't processed them. They're there because you haven't taken the time to process them correctly. When you were a child, you weren't able to process them, and that's why you suppressed them. But now you can, because now you're older, now you're able to do this, okay? And I'm gonna take something here for you, which they directed my attention before to it, but I didn't. I hadn't grabbed it yet because I was talking about this, okay? And when I say they, I mean my guides. But these are these little cards that I have. They're quotes from different people, and even though they're a personal thing for me, I sometimes, this is the second time actually that I'm going to use them in a reading, because I feel like this is a great way for the inner child to speak through, okay? And I'm going to take some charms for you as well, alright? You don't have, it's like, you can rest now. Like, you don't have to be like this anymore. You don't have to be so uptight. This is gonna sound weird, but there are no rules. You make your own life, okay? Those people that maybe told you to be a certain way, or that taught you that you had to be a certain way to receive love and affection, they are not, I'm not gonna say they're not there anymore, but they don't control you anymore, okay? You are in charge of your own life, and even though what happened to your inner child obviously was not great, because if you're suppressing these emotions, you have the ability to change how that is affecting you right now in the present, okay? Let me see what comes out, because I'm not gonna take all of them. If a lot of them fall out, I don't take them because it's a lot of cards, but let's see. I feel like I'm speaking differently. I don't know if I'm in my mom mode here. Let's see. I'm not a mom, by the way. Let's see. Come on. Well, there are two. Wow. Okay, so you got two of these. I'm going to take both of them. And I'm going to read this one, which is at the bottom of the deck. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to read this too. This one says, just understand that the good that you want is already there. All you have to do is get in harmony with it, and you do that through your own thinking. Bob Proctor. Okay, so but these are the actual ones that you got, and I'm gonna read them for you. So you got one from the Divine Comedy, Inferno, which says, "From there we came outside and saw the stars." So this um, quote for me really represents that star card energy, which shows you that there's still hope, there's still something out there to come out to. So your inner child doesn't want you to feel like this is the only version of you and the only thing that you will ever get to be. Because if you commit yourself to your own healing, if you try this, if you keep going, you're gonna become a version of yourself that you didn't even know existed. Okay, that there's still hope, there's still something out there for you to aim towards. Which another thing, your inner child wants you to set goals, and these don't have to be serious like lifelong goals, which they can be, but it's kind of like set small goals that will help you focus, and once you accomplish them, it will give you a sense of satisfaction, and it will give you this feeling of, hey, I can really do it. This can be as simple as, I'm gonna put a goal for myself to drink a cup of tea every night before I go to sleep to calm down. It could be as simple as that, and then you cross it off your list and you're like, hey, I did it. See? So that's kind of another thing that your inner child wants you to do. So I'm gonna place that here. And the other one that you got, which it's so beautiful to me, this one says, at the end of the day, we can endure much more than we think we can. Frida Kahlo. So just because we can endure more than we think we can doesn't mean we deserve to endure all of that. But what this is something about resilience and about strength. Um, the fact that you had to go through this, and this has affected you, and this has affected the present version of you so much, is not that important. The important thing here is that you made it through, and that you're here today, and that you are trying, because you are trying to change. You wouldn't be in this reading if you weren't trying to work through this, if you weren't trying to connect with your inner child, because you have to heal it, right? uh, so so I guess it's also kind of like a congratulations from spirit, maybe even your ancestors, because the desert card also represents kind of like your ancestors. So it's like, even though things that weren't that great happened, you can still see the good side of it. Like, you went through that, but you also gained something from it. Sometimes what you gained from it is not obvious, and sometimes it's almost insulting to hear someone say that you gained something from something else that was pretty horrible for you. But trust me that if you search for it, you're gonna find a meaning and a reason for what happened. It doesn't make it okay. It simply means that you're giving it a meaning to say, that happened, but I'm not gonna let it control me. I'm gonna use this, to become better at this, or to understand this. It helped me understand this, right? Because I'm gonna give you like a small example, which is myself, because I really relate to you. This pile is a lot like me. Okay, I I've said this before in the channel. I have an anxiety disorder, which is why sometimes I speak so fast and I get really nervous when I do these readings. And I mean, and I still have the anxiety disorder, but I was diagnosed with it when I was about 13 years old, right? And back then it was really, really bad. Even though I still have crises here and then, back then it was really, really bad. And I remember thinking, why is this happening to me? Like, why me? That kind of mentality, right? Which is understandable. It was painful for me. But when I look back on it, if I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't be here doing this, because this is what I like to do, because I like to help people in any way that I can, and I wouldn't be studying psychology, which, yes, I am a psychology student. So it helped me have this sympathy for people that had gone through the same things that I had gone through, right? So I truly believe that there's always something good that you can take out of a bad situation, and that's kind of what your inner child wants you to do. And to remember, see, it says defenselessness. Oh, I did say that I thought maybe you were pretty defensive about this, but don't be afraid of working with your inner child. Your inner child is you, okay? And yes, working through this process could be very painful, because I mean, you're gonna be tapping into a lot of painful emotions like sadness and anger and all of that, right? You're gonna have to process all of that, but it's worth it in the end. Okay, I'm gonna take out a charm for you. By the way, I don't look when I'm taking the charms. I just put my hand in and bring out whatever I feel should come out. But you can't see me, so you're gonna have to take my word for it. What is this? Ooh, the key. I like it. I'm gonna actually take one more. Oh, what is that? So these are like tiny cards that fell out. I'm gonna take them, which is the Two of Swords and the Knight of Cups. Ooh, I like that. So it's kind of like you are opening up. You really are. So that's just confirming to me that you see, you got the little this is a rose, which is about vulnerability for me. So that's your energy. That's again a confirmation that that's what you need to do to get in touch with this emotional side of you and actually allow yourself to feel, because by not allowing yourself to process these emotions, you keep yourself stuck with the Two of Swords. Okay, you keep yourself blocked from moving forward, and you keep yourself stuck in this time frame. And that time frame of your life, what taught you, it's kind of like if you think about it, it's kind of like you've become a prisoner to your past. And I understand how it's difficult to come out of that, but but actually think about it. Like, I feel like that's very true, and that just came to mind right now. So I channeled that. Let's see. I said I was gonna get another charm, but let's see. The tiny cards keep coming up. Okay. The Seven of Pentacles. See, patience. So definitely have patience with yourself through this process. Maybe you've tried this before. Maybe you've tried to work with your inner child before, and it's become overwhelming. So so maybe you've stopped a couple times, or right now maybe you're here because you were trying and now you don't know what else to do, or maybe even how to do it. Which, by the way, they just said to me that journaling would be very good for you. And when you say journaling, people sometimes think, just doing these pretty notebooks. It can be anything. You can write about anything that you want to do. You can make it pretty, but you don't have to. Okay? And the charm that came out is a Libra charm. So you could be a Libra, but not necessarily. For me, this is talking about balance and also aligning with yourself again, because we do have the Ace of Cups here, which I didn't talk about it, but the Ace of Cups is here. So for me, this not only talking about you being successful through this healing eventually, right? So I feel like you're gonna be successful, like you're gonna make it through the whole, the difficult part, and you're gonna come out stronger and healed. And even though sometimes being healed completely is not exactly a thing, in my opinion, because you're always gonna have something to deal with, but I feel like you're gonna come out like stronger, happier, and with a lot more knowledge. Okay, but with this Libra charm, like aligning with your emotional self, which is what's been neglected here, which is what your inner child is containing the most, which is your emotional self, right? And when you let this out, it's kind of like your inner child is saying, like, with this Ace of Cups, once you work through these emotions, because the thing is, when you repress emotions, and this is like a psychological concept, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that is true, Google it. When you try to numb out a specific emotion, that is not possible. But so what you do when you try to numb out, when your brain tries to get rid of a specific emotion because it's negative, it ends up numbing like all of your emotions. So even your happiness, your ability to feel pleasure, fulfillment, all of that, it gets kind of blurry. So you're not really feeling almost anything, right? So by dealing with these repressed emotions, you're gonna be able to feel happiness and feel cheerful and joyful in ways that you didn't even remember that you were able to. Okay, so definitely here is step out of your comfort zone and to remember that you are good enough. That is the main message, like the main message that your inner child has for you, is that you're good enough. Okay, so maybe you could try as well working on your self-love and your ability to be compassionate towards yourself. Okay, because you can be compassionate towards others if you're not compassionate with yourself, and you can't really love others if you don't love yourself. that's something that I've never fully agreed with, even though I just said it. I feel like you can love people, but the thing is that when you don't love yourself and you love someone else, you unintentionally sabotage the relationship, so it doesn't seem like you love them at all, right? Um, and yeah, like I said, this could have affected your relationships. So um, that's um, basically what your inner child is telling you, to work through this, to allow yourself to feel, because when you allow yourself to feel, you're going to be able to move forward and be happier, because you're going to be able to feel the happiness again. Okay, so that's all I have for you. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you feel called to, because I do put out new videos every Thursday at 7 a.m. EST and occasionally on Sundays. Do I was gonna say something and I got distracted. Sorry. Follow me on Instagram if you want to, because I do all of my updates over there. And I also post daily readings and other channel messages. I also have a donation section if you want to donate to a channel, or if this reading was especially helpful for you and you want to give me something, you can go ahead and do that, but it's never expected. It is always appreciated though. So I wish you the best of luck on your journey. And I'm really proud of you, because you are actually trying to do this, okay? And much love to you, okay? Bye bye. Hello, you chose pile 2. This is your reading. You chose the Birch card. So let's get into your reading. I'm gonna place this over here. Just off the bat with this card, I feel like you, as a child, you could have dealt with a lot of criticism from other people, because this card specifically talks about, I mean, it looks like eyes, right? So it feels like you're being watched constantly. So maybe you grew up in a household that was very judgmental, and people criticized you a lot. So now you feel like maybe you're probably, I heard the word jittery. So maybe you're a very anxious person now, because you were judged so much and you question kind of like everything you do in a way. But let's see with your cards. This card, I picked out one for every pile. This card is gonna represent your inner child, so like the essence of your inner child right now. Not the essence, is more like the main message energy that your inner child is coming through with. Okay, so you got the Ten of Cups. Ooh, I like that. But you know, let's see. So you're very close to achieving your goal. I like that. Okay, luck is on your side. It's time to take action. Okay, let's see. Then you got Star Family. You're part of a team of souls called in support. And then you got Big Picture Thinking, Pleiades Energy, Visionary, Inspire Ideas. This card reminds me a lot of this one. And then you got some tarot here. You got the Nine of Cups, the Five of Swords, and the Knight of Pentacles. Not the 8, the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. Alright, so let's get into this one. So your inner child is being represented by the Ten of Cups, which is very positive, but it also relates, I believe, to your family. Like I said, I feel like you were criticized a lot, and now you're very kind of anxious at the same time. And your inner child is kind of telling you as well, with this Star Family card, that there's a chance that you didn't feel. Oh, I got scared. I'm sorry. It's like an ad. I have music on. I'm sorry. As a child, you could have felt like you maybe didn't belong a lot. So it's probably that you felt like a stranger within your family, and that they criticized you a lot. Maybe you thought that they didn't love you, or that like they didn't accept you as one of their own, if that makes sense. I apologize for the ad, it's so loud, but I can't get up to get it because it's going to take a while. So your inner child is telling you, first of all, that your family is not only those that are related to you by blood, okay? You can choose your own, you can't really choose, well, if we're talking about the physical part, because some people do believe that we choose our families before we come here, but I'm not referring to that. We can't really choose. I'm saying that your family, you didn't have a choice but to grow up with them. That's what I'm trying to say. But you can still choose your other family, and I'm talking about friends and partners, and so you can kind of create your own family that you really wanted, the type of family that you need for yourself. Okay, so that's the first thing. And with the, you're very close to achieving your goal. It's like maybe you're getting kind of discouraged right now because maybe you're trying to find your soul family, you know, your star family right here. I feel like you haven't, or like you've met a lot of people that are like people in your actual, you know, family. uh yeah, it's kind of like maybe you can't trust people very well. You feel like if you trust, you're kind of afraid that if you trust someone, they're gonna turn out like whoever the person your whoever was in your family that was causing you this kind of distress and criticized you. Okay, because you do have that Five of Swords. I feel like maybe you felt like you couldn't talk to anyone without getting into a fight. And so you kind of became, as you got older, this kind of, I'm not gonna say doormat, but it's kind of like someone that doesn't really tell you what they feel, because you kind of are expecting already someone to just blow up in your face, you know, and do something like that. So your inner child, I mean, this is pretty clear to me with these cards, what they want. You're very close to achieving your goal. Luck is in your side. It's time to take action. With this time to take action card, I'm not exactly sure what they mean, but I'm assuming that you will know, um, because I feel like there's something you've been trying to do for a while, and it could be related to this star family and these friends that you're having, or maybe you're trying to actually leave. Um, the family home that you're living in right now, because you feel like people are overly critical of you, and your inner child is saying that that's gonna happen. Even though it's your inner child is yourself. Like, so I'm guessing that this is coming more so from maybe your spirit team, or you know, people in your star family. But your inner child wants you to know that um, I mean, your inner child is hurting because of this. Because when you're overly critical of anyone, um, not even a child, just anyone, the person starts feeling this sense of shame, or and maybe fear of doing something wrong, and that's kind of like what your inner child is holding. But your inner child also wants you to remember that you know, there's more to life than that. Um, that not everyone is gonna hurt you like that, and that's what you have to teach your inner child as well. You have to reassure your inner child that um, that what whoever's out there, it's not their enemy. Because I feel like your inner child is so kind of like nervous and jittery and distrustful of like strangers and other people, that it could be very difficult for you to meet new people and not feel like they're your enemy. So you could be very defensive in a way, which kind of relates to pile one. I don't know if you felt called to that pile, definitely watch it. Um, but your inner child wants comfort. I heard comfort. So maybe what you need to work on with your inner child is, and kind of like showing, being the person that you needed when you were a child in a way, and nurture your inner child. You know, instead of criticizing yourself in the mirror every day, which I'm pretty sure that you do if you had people who are overly self-critical, overly critical of you. Um, you start repeating those patterns with yourself because you don't feel like you're good enough. So that really makes your self-esteem drop as a child. Okay, so you need to teach your inner child and reassure them that they are not faulty, or they are not incomplete, or like, I feel like you could have issues again with your self-image, like I was saying. But it's kind of like you need to know that when you tell yourself in the mirror what other people told you, you are actually repeating that same abuse that you received, but you're doing it to yourself. Think of your inner child. Your inner child is a child. It's you, but it's a child. Okay, would you tell a child any of the things that you've told yourself? No, you wouldn't, because it's a child. Okay, a child doesn't deserve to be told that they are, I don't know, ugly, or that they don't do anything right, or that they fail at everything, or that some, you know, those kind of things, right? um So what you need to do here to heal this inner child of yours, and to heal yourself, because at the end of the day your inner child is you, is to try to learn more self-love, but specifically around your self image, the way that you perceive yourself, because I feel like this file specifically was very affected in the way that they saw themselves and how they thought of themselves. So um, I feel like you could beat yourself down a lot for making even the minimal mistake, or even for nothing, not even having to having to make any type of mistake. Maybe you just wake up in the morning, go to the mirror and go, oh, I'm so ugly, those kind of stuffs. And your inner child notices, because it's you. It's part of your subconscious. It's part of your mind, and you keep kind of reinstating this abuse that they received, and at the end of the day that's hurting you. Okay, I'm gonna take some of these for you before I take the charms. These are cards that I made with quotes from people, just quotes that I like. They don't have anything specific. This is specifically personal. This is mine, but I decided to use it in today's reading because I feel like it could be useful. Okay, I'm gonna see what they have to say from here. So your inner child wants you to know that they need comfort, which means you need to comfort yourself. You need to pamper yourself. You need to love yourself. Okay. That's the main. Those are too many. I can't. That's the main thing. Okay. And even with that nine of nine of cups, this one came out. This is 9 of pentacles, and the 10 here. So again, you're very close to achieving your goal. Okay. Don't kind of it's like, don't give up now. Trying to look for your home and your family. Okay. You will find not everyone out there is out to get you. Not everyone out there is gonna hurt you. Okay. So, but you need to take that first step of saying, okay, I'm gonna try and I'm gonna trust this person, for example. Of course, be cautious with who, because sometimes some people are not great, but not everyone is a bad person. Okay. So if you find someone that has shown you that they're trustworthy and that they're a nice person and care about you, it's like, take that step about opening up and allowing them in. It's really gonna help you. Okay. And what you got here was by Shireya, I believe that's how you say her name. Perhaps the problem is not the intensity of your love, but the quality of the people you are loving. Tell me that doesn't tie in perfectly. Oh, I didn't read this. I did this for the other group. I didn't read like the bottom one, which is this one. I'm gonna take it because it was here. I like that one. So I just saw it. It says it's by Brené Brown. It says, sometimes the bravest and most important thing you can do is just show up. Okay. So with this take action card, some people get kind of nervous about it, because like, oh, what do I need to do now? Like, it could be as simple as showing up. It could be as simple as saying yes to an outing with friends. It could be as simple as saying taking someone's offer to let you vent, something like that. It could be simple. Okay. And again, with this one, I feel like it's very clear that that's the main message, that not everyone, maybe the problem is not you. I'm not saying that other people are the problem, but sometimes people make you feel like you are the issue, when in reality you're not doing anything wrong. It's them that are kind of toxic. I'm gonna be honest. Some people are just toxic. Okay. So maybe change the people that you're loving so you can actually get love back. Does that make sense? And I'm gonna take a charm for you, which, by the way, I do not look at them, but you can't see me, so trust me. Something jumped out, and I'm taking this one because I grabbed it. So this little card that I have here jumped out, which is ooh, it's the Knight of Pentacles again. Interesting. The Knight of Pentacles. Okay, and the other thing is, don't rush through this healing. Yes, I said that it could be something simple, but it's not like you have to rush and be like, I'm an extrovert now, or I'm gonna trust everyone, you know, just one step at a time. The first step could be trying to love yourself a little bit more, and maybe the second step will be to start trusting people again. You don't have to do everything at once, okay? And you got Pisces, the Pisces charm. You could be a Pisces, but not necessarily. And that calls my attention with the fish. But Pisces, they're two fish. So this really reinstates this for me with the star family. I feel like you're gonna meet them, and with this inspired ideas, I feel like you're gonna maybe meet them through work or through something you do that makes you feel happy or passionate. Maybe like a passion project, maybe something you do for fun. I feel like you could be an artist of some kind. Um, you know, do let me know that, because I'm not sure. And you're just gonna find them, and you're gonna be like, oh wow, that was easy, you know. So your star family, these people that really love you, they're gonna get to you. You're gonna become aligned with them soon. Okay, so don't lose hope now. Okay, so that's all I have for you. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you feel called to, because I do put out new videos every Thursday at 7 a.m. EST, and occasionally on Sunday. Sometimes I get stuck when I do this stuff. Okay, so also go ahead and follow me on my Instagram, because I do all of my updates from my channel there, and I also post daily readings. Okay, I also have a donation section. If you want to donate to the channel to help me out here, you can go ahead and do that, but it is, you know, it's not expected, but it is always appreciated. Alright, so I wish you the best of luck on your journey, and much love to you. Bye bye. Love you, shows pile 3 with the hair. This is your reading, so I'm gonna place your card over here. Okay. Ooh. Alright, so just right off the bat there, I feel like you could be someone who, how do I put this? You could be kind of an escapist, if that makes sense. So maybe you kind of run away from just things, and you don't, maybe people. Maybe you run away from things that make you feel uncomfortable. I'm sorry, that just came up. So this card, that just went just straight out of the gate with with the stuff. Okay, so this card is gonna represent your inner child, so like their main energy, and also kind of like the main message of where they're at right now. Of course, inside of it, but you know. Ooh, the Fool. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Okay, so let's go with this one. A fiery climax approaches. Full moon in Aries. Ooh. Blue moon, believing the impossible. Mother God. Your commitment is being tested. First quarter moon. And then we got loosen your grip, coping mechanisms, density, addiction, let God in. The blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. When I said that, the way I just said it was because when it says integration time, it's kind of like, this is now is the time to do the healing. Okay, so maybe you got like a little push, like a little nudge from the universe recently, and that's why you're here. So maybe it's not like you've been this, it's not like you've been, maybe it's not like you've been through this before, and you're kind of like, okay, what do I do now? And you just stumble across the reading, I guess. Let's see. I got the star. See, the healing. The Ace of Wands. And the Two of Wands. So you got one, the Ace, and the two, 1 and 2. Interesting. Okay, so yes, so like I said, maybe you could be a bit of an escapist with this here. Okay, maybe you engage in some self-destructive behaviors. When it says addiction, it doesn't have to be like an addiction to alcohol or like smoking, or no. You could have an addiction to specific types of relationships, like, you know, like codependent relationship. You could have an addiction to food. You could have an addiction to making just bad choices for yourself in a way to self-sabotage yourself. Okay, so you could have some very difficult self-destructive behaviors here, and your inner child is like, your inner child is represented by the Fool. So the thing with this card is like, it's very innocent, and a child would not do anything to destruct himself or herself, right? A child, because they're children, a child is not gonna try to make themselves feel pain or hurt themselves on purpose. right? Children have this very, the basic reduce pain, increase pleasure thing, which is like our most not animalistic, like our most basic needs in life, zero pain, ultimate pleasure in a way, right? So children don't like to hurt themselves in any way, right? And if they do something and they hurt themselves, they sure as hell didn't do it on purpose, okay? But you could have developed some self-destructive behaviors. Maybe this from like coming from family. Maybe people in your family did this, and you kind of learned to destruct yourself, basically. They just showed me like the Ouroboros. Is that how you say it? Like the serpent that eats its own tail. Look it up because I can't speak today, and I don't know why. But the main thing that your inner child wants to tell you is that this self-destructive behaviors, these self-destructive things that you don't do them because you like to do them. It's kind of like you're doing this because you learned to do this. Okay, it's kind of like you learn. Children don't do anything that they haven't learned. Okay. With this hair here, it's kind of like this very fearful energy as well. So I don't know if you have anxiety or someone who has like a panic disorder in a way. Not necessarily. I'm just saying that because I'm seeing the swirls here. Oh, the Ouroboros thing. Okay. So what your inner child wants to tell you is that firstly, you have to recognize these self-destructive behaviors. Again, don't think only addictions to substances. Think farther than that, okay? Anything that you do that you know is not good for you, but you keep doing it anyway, it's an addiction, okay? And anything that hurts you and you keep doing it is self-destructive behavior, okay? Maybe, you know what could be a self-destructive behavior? Getting into relationships and just then running away from them. Not because you don't love the person anymore, because you feel like you don't deserve them, and then you hurt yourself again and someone else, okay? So first, you have to admit that to yourself, and admit that you have an issue with that, so you can go forward and heal it, okay? The second thing specifically here is that they're not saying it's going to be easy. Remember that your inner child is you, so I am also kind of channeling your spirit team as well. They don't want you to think that it's going to be completely easy, okay? Because it's not going to be easy. It's not. It's simply not. That's not how it works, unfortunately. But it's not impossible. See? Believe in the impossible. So if you feel like maybe you're not going to be able to get rid of these patterns and these behaviors, no, never. Maybe you feel like you're never gonna do it, but you will. Okay, you only have to start. You have to take that first step and stop running. Because I hear stop running. I said it before. It's like stop running away from this. Oh, maybe you're running away from actually doing the healing, even though you're here. So maybe you're here and you kind of learn. And you go like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then when the time comes to do it, you kind of run away in a way. Not literally like you run away, but maybe you say I don't have time now, or I'm busy. I can do it tomorrow. You are running away. I do it too. Okay, I'm not judging you. So you have to stop running away from it, because even though it's scary, it's worth it, and you can 100% do it. Okay. There's a need for you to also stop looking at the past. You need to look to the future, and live in the present, but plan for the future. Stop. It's kind of like stop living in your past. You have a present right now, and you also have a future. So set goals for your future. Okay, really evaluate your life and see where these patterns are, so you can get rid of them. Because the thing is that if you don't admit to yourself where they are, you consciously kind of don't know what these patterns are. Okay, so when you go through this, it's kind of like you're gonna have a whole another awakening. So this kind of star energy, where you're gonna be kind of reborn in a way. Okay, I'm gonna take some of these for you, because I've taken them for every group. These are quotes that this is a deck I made for myself, but I thought it would be helpful for this reading. And these are quotes just from people that I like and that I find is inspiring in some way, or that they have a lot of truth in them. Okay, so I'm gonna see. Oh, that was quick. You got two. How did I know that one was gonna come out? I was thinking, I didn't say it because I thought it was just my brain making, kind of connections in my head. If you've watched The Haunting of Hill House, there's a if you've seen the series, there's one of the brothers. He is an addict. He's actually addicted to drugs. I'm not saying that you are, but that type of that character, he is self-destructive. Okay, I was thinking about that character in my head, but I didn't say it because I thought that it was just me. Okay, but you have it here. But I'm gonna read this one first. This one is wow, Jesus. Okay, so remember what I just said, that there's a need for you to live more in the present and plan for the future. Well, this one says, with the past I have nothing to do, nor with the future. I live now. Ralph Waldo Emerson. I mean, I don't have to explain that, do I? And then this one, it says, to learn what we fear is to learn who we are. The fear, see, okay. And the thing was, the running away thing that you do, what are you running away from? Like, what are you afraid of? What's scaring you that makes you run away? It makes you start these kind of destructive behaviors. It could be love. Maybe you're afraid of being loved. Maybe you think you don't deserve it. So, because I can definitely see that. And I understand that it's a coping mechanism, because maybe people you loved hurt you in the past, and now you try not to let anyone get too close to you because you're afraid of being hurt, but in the process you hurt yourself. Okay, you hurt other people as well, but you hurt yourself. And I'm gonna take a charm for you. I'm not looking when I pick these out. I simply touch them. But you're gonna have to trust me, I guess, because you really can't see me, I suppose. See, wow. Okay, so if you know where this is from, if you watch Supernatural, shout out to you. But these are handcuffs and they say freedom. And although these have a completely different meaning when I usually get them, it's not like you have convinced yourself that what you do, you do it because you want to, or because you're free. Like I said, you have to recognize that it's hurting you and that you don't really do it because you want to. You do it because you kind of learn to do it that way, right? So there's like this fake sense of freedom and of happiness that's really not there. Okay, and I'm gonna take another one, right? Oh, two fell out. Made with love. Yeah, you need to love your inner child more. And you got this little it has like a little car here. You can't see it, it's tiny. You have to love your inner child more. And by loving your inner child, I mean loving yourself enough to notice these patterns and decide to change them. If you're here, you already took the first step because you're here, okay? In my opinion. So now it's your time to actually admit this to yourself and commit yourself to doing this, okay? And with this chariot here, this is like kind of like the chariot card for me. It's like an old car. I can even say from what time period it is, and you can't really see it anyway because it's like super tiny. But it's kind of like these car that they had before that was run by horses. It doesn't have any horses, okay? So the thing is that yes, it's gonna like this chariot is gonna stay there, but it's not gonna go anywhere if you don't have any horses, okay? So you really have to use your will here and use your willpower to move forward. And that's kind of like what your inner child is telling you as well. Commit yourself to it and go for it. Again, I've said this in every pile, it's gonna be worth it in the end. You can do this, okay? You're very strong. Believe in the impossible, alright? So this is all I have for you. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you feel called to, because I do put out new videos every Thursday at 7 a.m. EST and occasionally on Sundays. I also go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you want to, because I do all of my updates over there, and I post daily messages and other channel messages, daily readings and other channel messages. Also, I have a donation section if you want to donate to the channel to help me out here, and if this reading was especially helpful for you, you can go ahead and donate. It is never expected, but it's always very much appreciated, okay? So I wish you the best of luck on your journey and much love to you. Okay, bye bye.